Welcome to the presentation of our paper entitled Disentangling the Motivational Pathways of Recreational Esports Gamblers, a Laddering Study. My name is Niels Bibert, and together with my colleague Maarten Denoo from KU Leuven, I'm going to present you our work in the coming 5 minutes. Let's start off with a problem statement of our article. Our work fits within the existing research on esports, which has received some, but not much attention in past SIGCHI venues. What this work adds is that it widens the scope of esports audience research by focusing on the phenomenon of esports betting, which is a specific gambling activity that has become increasingly popular in the past few years. This study was a response to two main gaps in our current understanding of esports betting from an SIGCHI point of view. To the best of our knowledge, our work is among the first to pave the way for a theory-informed and interdisciplinary research line on gambling within SIGCHI. Next to that, we are also among the first to approach a study of gambling motivation from an SIGCHI-inspired methodology. So what we did was first, we developed a theoretical model to capture what is exactly going on when betting on esports. We came up with a rather parsimonious and easy-to-grasp model based on the work of Zhang, Ko, and Wu, in which we theorize about esports betting as a set of recurring human platform interactions which can be examined by finding an answer to 6 basic questions, known as the 5W1H. What, when, where, who, why, and how. On the empirical level, we also wanted to know why people bet on esports, as no research to date has ever examined this question. For that reason, we decided that a means-end chain theoretical approach and the laddering methodology were the best choices to make this happen. On the one hand, this allowed us to operationalize esports betting motivations as consequences triggered by platform attributes and explained by personal values. On the other hand, it enabled us to examine, analyze, and visualize the nature of motivations and the connections between ACV sequences in a particular and meaningful way. In our study, we conducted various belief elicitation interviews in a meaningful choice context of monetary and skin betting with the aim of building hierarchical motivation ladders.
Doing semi-structured interviews, participants were repeatedly asked why. Why they preferred either money or skins, and why the reasons for their preference were important to them. While we made use of means and chain theory, teams also emerged from data inductively in line with adaptive theory. Using LadderX, value maps were created, resulting in a clear summary of participants' means and chains. As a general overview, the majority of consequences, or motives, as well as all values overlapped. However, the attributes that triggered motivations turned out quite different. First of all, we found that esports gambling motivations can be more or less intrinsic or extrinsic. Intrinsically, participants wanted to learn about esports betting strategies, and wanted to feel excited. The motive of esports spectatorship was also reported as a way to make matches active and engaging. Extrinsically then, players were motivated to make profit and expressed a desire to experience optimal gameplay, that is, the avoidance of legal wrongdoing or technical flaws. Our findings suggest that one's motivation to bet on esports can be triggered by 2 types of attributes. On the one hand, it can be triggered by the gambling platform's usability. On the other hand, the trigger may lie outside the platform itself and instead originate from activities that are psychologically connected to esports gambling. Moving up the ladder, looking at values. First of all, the need for security made up the most complex network of chains and was linked to several motives that all had one thing in common: avoiding an exaggerated loss of value. Stimulation then underpins the need for entertainment, challenge, and novelty when gambling. Profit maximization served different goals, as it was linked to 4 out of 6 values: achievement, social and self-esteem, and pleasure. First, the study has shown that a SIGCHI lens is valuable for research on gaming and gambling convergence. Second, our study could be useful for future human-computer interaction research because of its application of the 5W1H framework. Third, on an empirical level, our findings contribute to a nuanced understanding of esports betting motivations and may benefit future measurements of gambling motivations. Thank you all for listening.